What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am Justin, here with Meals. What's up, Meals?
What's up, man? New mic. I hope this sounds good. I really do.
Yeah, it sounds great. New mic. I've actually so this is an issue that I've been tackling for a week, and people
Right.
only Meals knows this right now. But my actual mic, I replaced it with another mic, and I'm like, I don't really like this mic anymore, so I try to take it off. But if anyone knows about like mic arms and like mic adapters, I had to put a 3/8 adapter into this in order to convert the new mic into this arm, and I can't take it off. So for the past week, I've been like every so often when I'm bored or just like need something to take my mind off of things, I get to work and I get to try and spin this fucking little gear off of the mic arm, and
How long until you break it?
it's metal, so a long time. But I found a good piece. I found a good pair of pliers, and I was able to actually get the mic off. Now I have to just take the adapter off and put the mic that I'm using now on this makeshift little gimmick that I'm holding it up.
This sounds like me trying to replace the shower head in my in my bathroom. Like
But
it literally sounds like that.
just as complicated, honestly. But yes, I'm back in full force using my old Shure mic. I really love my Shure mic. I tried to get an Elgato.
I'm
It
on sure too. Come on now. We
Shure
sure.
game, Shure game.
Listen, they need to pass the check because the Elgato shit. Not that it's not working and it hasn't been working, but I wasn't as a fan of my quality. But finally did something about it. Shout out to the patrons. Essentially, you guys helped me afford this. Buying this to upgrade the audio quality and everything audio wise, so we can present the best podcast that we can. So
Yeah,
shout out to that.
yes, and Shure produces the best products. So let's
Pass the check.
let's get that check. Let's get that money going. But we're here. We're back today. Mills, do you remember? And this is like early 2000s history. So a lot of people
Mm,
who were born after that are probably just gonna just go ahead and tune out right now. That's fine.
yeah, Bribosa, Jalen, whoever.
Remember? Do you remember In Together, the MTV fictional boy band
Yeah, of course.
with
You plus me equals us.
you with me.
It
It doesn't
ain't
equal us.
calculus.
You took my car. Now I gotta take the bus.
And then the dude died, and suddenly it wasn't funny anymore.
Yeah.
Of
Yes.
course, of
And
course.
and then they had like a series. They had a series, TV series after that. But they had like Chad Linus and Mickey Park, the bad boy. Uh, like it was. I don't know why I was like watching the videos on YouTube today, but if you've never seen it, MTV created a fictional boy band that was like, because I mean, boy bands were all the
This was back on MTV where you could have an idea and it maybe come to something. Like
yeah,
this
it
is
would
peak.
same network that had a Juicy J and DJ Paul TV show. Like they were doing anything on that network at one point, and that was kind of just like the some of the best moments of my teenage life was just watching shit like this. You know what I mean? It was pretty dope. But
I feel like I was too young to be able to understand the comedy behind it. Like I definitely watched it, but I don't think I really like understood what was going on other than knowing that it was supposed to be like a parody. But
yeah,
I don't think I like really processed it cuz I was like 9, 10 when this came out.
yeah.
So I don't think I really processed it. So I might actually have to like watch it over again. But MTV had great shows, man.
They
It's
had a
we
reunion for Together last year. With
really.
yeah, with some of the surviving members. MTV in a strange moment of virtue, they signed off creative rights to the guys in the band. So like they're actually able to go around.
We don't need it.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, shit, we can barely fucking edit the challenge. Let's just
You
like,
you want to say what karaoke too? You know what I'm saying?
but the crazy thing about it, and you know why I thought of this, because and I think I sent you this TikTok, was Tom Green talking about the Bum Bum song. Again, this is early like late
Yes.
90s,
No,
early
I did
2000s.
watch this. So that's what got you onto it. That makes complete sense
Yes,
because I have no
yes.
idea why the fuck you would start watching together.
So Tom Green, I mean, if anyone doesn't know, he was kind of like the first like internet comic, really. Like he was like the
Yeah.
first guy who went viral for doing crazy things. And
Did you read the thing that Rob said in chat? last week during NXT?
I'm not in there during NXT. No, what did he say?
He said when when Andre Chase loses his match, he can go back to being Tom Green.
Come on, man. That's the
and
actually,
now Plus and I was like, we can never not see it ever
bro.
again.
Yo, Rob, very accurate. Shout out to Khaled, very accurate. But no, like he said that the Bum Bum song was like a huge parody song, and it legitimately went number one on TRL at the time, which was like
It
a big,
did. I remember that.
it legitimately went up. And so he said that I didn't know this. He said that he had to retire it because TRL was going to be taped on 1 week because they did like 3 weeks untaped and 1 week taped. So I was just like, bro, they've been lying to us for years.
Bro, I thought it was live. There's only a few seldom moments I've actually voted for music videos. Um, I used to vote. I went to 106 in Park. Which video did I vote on? It was definitely like it might have been a Nelly video. I'm gonna keep it real. Like after I saw maybe Hot in Here, I was like, yo, it's gotta be number one.
Yeah,
And I went and voted for it. But like knowing that all these things were like taped in advance, um, I've gone to TRL once. Not like TRL in studio, but like outside.
yeah.
Um, it
Was
was
it
the
cold?
day it wasn't cold. This was like so this was in the not fire days of TRL because I was already in college. So or I just started college. So this was like 2007. So me and my boys from high school, we were back. We met up after because this is like we'd gone to college, we were all going to community college, and then we were like, let's go meet up because we haven't seen each other in a while. So we meet up around Times Square because then Times Square also had Virgin Music Studios because I wanted to go buy Graduation by Kanye West. So I went to go buy Graduation by Kanye West, and then TRL was also taping down the street, and I think the guest at the time was Ashanti and Chameleonaire. So
Ugh.
right. So we go downstairs, mind you, this wasn't the peak TRL. So you remember there used to be like a sea of people like in Times Square. There was maybe like 21 of us, and like 18 of them went to see it was there to see Ashanti. And like maybe four people were there to see Chameleonaire. So we are down there, and they don't even show us on camera because there's no point. There's not a lot of people. But we're down there and we're waiting for Chameleonaire to come out the tour because his tour bus just pulled up. So we were waiting for him to come up. He never fucking comes out. I was
Yeah.
like, yo, this is so whack. And then Ashanti never. The Ashanti girls, they had gone around the corner to see her when she came out, and she actually came out and signed all their things, and they came back around and it was like, oh my god, yeah, she came out, she was so nice. Da, 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 da. And we are like, we're here waiting for Chameleonaire. This bitch ass nigga won't show up or anything. So that's my TRL experience. But yes, go back to the Tom Green TRL story. I'm
So
sorry.
they had to. Where's that? Oh, I was saying that he had to retire it, and he was saying that they kept begging him. They were calling him like literally like, can you please retire the video because if this video is number one next week and not even on the taped show at all because they taped it weeks ago and it's not even on the taped show next week, it's gonna fuck up the continuity. And I just thought it was a fan like it was just so eye opening, and it just sent me down an old MTV show uh kind of rabbit hole, and that's where I was last weekend. I've been watching a lot of like since the election. I've been watching a lot of action movies, and I've been watching a lot of like old TV shows. And I don't
They
know
need
what it
to
is. It's been a comfort.
they need to put that content back up though. Like
Yeah,
I don't know who owns the right to it. I'm sure it's Paramount at this point, but Paramount don't know what the fuck to do about anything. But they really do need to like there needs to be at least make it a Pluto TV channel. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like something because I've been on Pluto TV heavy because they just added cartoons and shit. So I've been watching like Hey Arnold and Rugrats and Doug and all the other Nicktoon shit that just be playing on a 24-hour cycle every day, anytime, all the place, and the challenge too.
They do that.
Um,
They do something like that on Prime. They have a Power Rangers channel on Prime, and I
I,
got.
I like I like those kind of stuff too. They have a Power Rangers on Pluto too.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Pluto. Listen, man, Pluto. I've been telling y'all, like, you be at work or you just need to work a little bit, just throw Pluto on, man. Something's on. Trust me. There's something there. They got anime channels now. Um, they got a couple more things. So like I'm big on this Pluto shit right now. I just throw
Yeah.
it on in the background and do whatever, bro.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of, I think the theme here is kind of like we are looking at alternative sources, right? We're looking at alternative things. Everyone's looking for an alternative to something right now, right?
You're about to kill this segue, but go off.
And no, because I would another thing that I've been doing, and I've been on marketing brain all weekend because I'm looking at I think the real clarity I have coming out of the past 2 weeks, right, is the why. And but not just the why, but understanding what's next and what's happening because of this. And I think that the
Mm,
reaction of the people to what happened 2 weeks ago during the election is, to me, like way faster than it was in 2016. Like like 2016, you're in shock. This time it's just anger, but it's also like, all right, fuck it, like fuck around and find out. Seems to be the theme of what's going on right now. And so I know I kind of know your thoughts on stuff like Blue Sky and Threads and things like that. I've kind of seen you talk about it. We've kind of talked about it on the show before. But like one thing that was interesting to me and caught me off guard was someone posted up that Blue Sky was actually the number one app on the App Store on Friday, and this was
it
the
was. I
and
think it still is, to be honest with
it
you.
still is. And this was the day of Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. So
Hmm.
people really took note of that night and said, what is going on here? And what I'm noticing, Meals, is that there's a huge kind of like decentralization, if you will, of social media. Like it was once concentrated on two main sources, right? And that was a kind of rickety bridge, and that was Twitter and Instagram, right? And
Right.
Facebook was kind of on the outs. It was the third tertiary, but then it became Threads. And I'm telling you, should Threads or had Threads launched a year later, like last summer, we would be talking about Threads differently, or it wouldn't have been so slow to launch, right?
Right.
But
Right. Right.
what we've seen with Blue Sky, almost out of nowhere, it's been around. It's been around for a
Oh yeah,
minute.
it's been around for a minute. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen people migrate to Blue Sky. I wasn't really. I think they migrated initially when we had the Twitter outages and a
Yes.
couple other things. They were like, "Yo, check me out on Blue Sky." I was like, "Haha, enjoy." Um, but I just recently signed up. I haven't tweeted or anything or
Yeah,
spied or.
and I think there is a sort of curiosity, right? On Blue Sky of, well, how do we tackle this new thing? What do we do here? But I think what I'm seeing more is that there's a community that's building in a more organic way. I think that people should look at what's happened over the past 5 to 6 months on Twitter as a real reason why not only people have migrated, but why everyone keeps saying, well, people are going to come right back. And I want to stop people right there from saying that, or who
I
say that.
don't think they will, to be honest with you.
I think this is different. Yes, I think this is different. I do. And the thing is, Meals, to that point, even if people come back to Twitter, Blue Sky doesn't need that many people from Twitter to be remain profitable at this point, or to remain relevant, right? Because the fraction of what they have on Twitter is enough to sustain any social media platform. Like all they need is like 2 3 million, and they've crushed that already. But what I'm seeing is that people are staying. And that's the thing that is getting me, is that people are staying and they're building a community. Now, the one thing about Twitter that we always kind of talked about, right, was that it was a community building exercise, right? That's not necessarily happening because there are so many elements to this site now, Meals, that are inherently toxic. Let's just be real, but also inherently filled with right wing propaganda. And I think that what you're seeing right now is that these are notoriously kind of left leaning platforms. And I think
Yeah,
this guy is turning into that. And that's what's happening now. So I'm looking at this in a way where it's like, I think that if brands were not paying attention to this before, they certainly need to now. The conversation with Blue Sky is different than what it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
I
This is
agree.
an actual thing now, and I think
No,
people
no, no. I
need to.
agree. I agree. I agree. I think just because of how, I guess, right-leaning Twitter has become. Like, I said this once, probably a couple days before election. I would open my Twitter just to Trump shit
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I didn't ask for. I would legitimately say, "Report this ad. I don't wanna see any of this," and 4 more would pop up. I've gone out my way to, I mean, I've muted Elon. I think Trump is back on there. I've muted him or blocked him or whatever the hell it is. At this point, the block thing doesn't work. But there's so much trying to like on Twitter that's turning people away because as enticing blue sky is, there have been options for a while, and blue sky has been an option now. So what makes it different now? It's kind of low key what we kind of see with WWE and AEW.
Yeah.
Um, with essentially kind of, but not really. Um, where a the what's pushing people away now, for instance, from AEW, is just so much of like how they're operating and the stories that they're telling. Whereas WWE is just kind of like, hey, this is a place where you can see this and it's for everybody and all this other
Yeah.
stuff like that. Um, but I think with Blue Sky, I haven't posted because I don't have enough thoughts for both.
Yeah.
And I'm not ready to leave Twitter yet, to be
And that's
honest with
fair.
you.
That's fair. Honestly, I accidentally retweeted you the other day, and I was just like,
I know, I saw. I was like,
I was like,
"You're
'cause
not
it was
supposed to know we're
funny.
here."
It was funny. It was a funny tweet, but I was just like, I literally swear to God, I only go on your
That's one of
account.
my I was low key gonna post it in Discord. I was like, "This actually might need to be tweeted."
Yeah, like
It's that funny.
it was funny as hell. But like, I go to your page and the challenge pages, and then I get off, and then it's
Yeah.
like that's literally all I do on there now because, and it's not just right wing stuff. It is a permeation of bots, of the paid check marks that you cannot get away from.
Yeah.
It is an echo chamber of just negativity in a way that for me, just browsing Blue Sky, not even as much as I browse Twitter at its heyday, it's just not there. And I think that there's a real opportunity for people to carve out their niche, not just in the political space, but in every space. And, I have to hand it to AEW for planning their mark. And I have to kind of look at WWE kind of funny for honestly hitching so much of their boat to Twitter at this point. I think
Yeah.
that they're most known for and most notable for being a brand that is very forward thinking in terms of being there first. This is the one time they're not there first, and it is kind of like concerning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really because I guess they're handcuffed, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're handcuffed with with the deal with Twitter and being able to air pretty much speed and other content that they have, which to me, again, we were looking at that deal like, "Why?"
Yeah. Is it
Like, why
necessary?
do you need why yeah, why are we airing content on speed? Like, or X rather, or Twitter? Twitter is not a great platform for video or any kind of continuing series at all.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, you could just delete the tweet and it'll be gone forever. There's no, like, place to watch. Like, if I wanted to watch every episode of Speed at the same time, there's not a great way to watch it unless someone threads a bunch of tweets together.
Yeah.
So I was always concerned. I was like, I'm sure they're just getting money from other places and stuff like that. But um, yeah, it's kind of strange. It's
But
kind of strange.
you also have to look at it, right? From a sense that unlike UFC, okay,
Are AEW's tweets better on Blue Sky than they are on Twitter?
they're roughly the same, but they have a community already. You know what I mean? And,
Okay.
and I think it would take nothing for WWE to just say, you know what? Like I don't know,
Hey,
I don't know the video
plug.
and I exactly like I don't know the video capabilities of Speed or what they're capable of, but I wouldn't be shocked if they're not looking at it. But to that point, unlike the UFC, WWE has had a aversion to leaning towards a side. Okay, let's just like regardless of what their individual talent have done or thought on social media, the company itself has an aversion to showing a side to anyone at this point, which
Yeah.
is good. But I think that the more that they sit on that site and put content out there, you are essentially becoming uh complicit in it. I've seen a lot of companies like Disney. I've seen Disney. I've seen IBM are going back to doing ads on Twitter, and I'm like, I don't or X or whatever. I don't think that is a. I don't think that's a good idea. um,
No, not at all. Not in
I
this climate, especially at this time of, yeah, just not at this climate at all.
yeah.
I don't. I'm from when I was working doing a lot more branding stuff and everyone was moving away from Twitter. Um, I just thought honestly, I think there's not much to gain
Mhm. Mhm.
respectively from promoting anything on Twitter. Like we've talked about it even internally, right? So like we've talked about even I think Jamal brought it up in our lookout Discord. He was like, "Do we still want to do the lookout on Twitter?" Because like one, it's not really getting any much engagement, but then also like the community is seemingly gone.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know what makes Twitter tick anymore. I
What
don't
does
know
it
what
mean?
is there. The community isn't there. Um, and if it is, it's kind of toxic in itself. The infrastructure for where media has kind of gone in the future, currently now, where things have moved to a lot more video content and a lot more images and visual, it isn't really there. Um, People just in general, we've heard every opinion under the sun already, at least maybe like 3 or 4 times over.
Yeah.
Um, so now people are just like tweeting bullshit. Um, like that Air Gold guy
Yeah.
who tweets, you can clearly see that he's tweeting to get engagement for whatever he's doing, or
Right.
whatever, buy textbooks or, composition notebooks or whatever the fuck he needs for school. But he's clearly tweeting for that, and that just doesn't make for an impactful, it doesn't make for a fruitful, like, this I see why people have left Twitter overall in, like, droves and stuff like that, and I don't really blame them. I don't think I'm ready to leave yet, but I do think there's a tipping point for me, because I remember Sticker Mule, and
Mhm.
we use Sticker Mule heavy, by the
Right.
way. This is actually very, very sad for me, because we use Sticker Mule. I've used Sticker Mule when we did Two Belts. I use Sticker Mule when we do Lookout, and more importantly, I use Sticker Mule for the A show. Them fire ass fire bags that we gave, those are from Sticker Mule. The stickers that came from are from Sticker Mule.
I
Everything
feel
in it is
dirty. I feel dirty just looking at it.
yeah, I feel OD. Like I'm just like I still
Yeah.
got them in my room, all this other stuff like that. They still send emails. I still unsubscribe and block them, like all this other shit like that. There there's definitely a level of toleration which I probably won't tolerate anymore. Um, and we'll kind of see. But it's kind of like tough to start over again for
Yeah.
me,
But
which is what I really don't want to do.
and that's true, and I think a lot of people feel that way, and it's valid. It's valid, but I think that ultimately, Blue Sky is not a place where because you can't even make money in there yet, right? So it's like it's not even necessarily a place that you will probably want to just be like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like I'm doing all these things and all of that stuff. Like so even when you think about the sense of like restarting or soft launching or hard launching your new persona or whoever the fuck you are on it, like
Right?
stakes are so low. And that's what I'm saying. Like the stakes are so low on Blue Sky. And I'm seeing that now. I'm just like, people are just there fucking chilling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I
But do
think
you or I'm sure but there's always the people that jump on, right, who if I be if I become popular on this platform first, then I'll be highlighted and all these other great things will happen to me. It happened with fucking Threads. It happened with fucking what's that voice one that was through pandemic. Uh,
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse happened with so many different other things. Um, so I'm expecting to see that eventually, but no, you're right. I mean, you know, it honestly it also looks softer. It's way more like for instance, like a couple of months ago we talked about Spill. Remember Spill?
Yeah, Spill.
It was just doing too much all at once. Like it
It,
wanted to be this thing, but then it was just kind of like doing too much. This does the right amount. It doesn't try to be more than what it is.
yeah, and again, as we look forward to the next couple of years in this country, I just want to point out before I get off of this point, um people are and seemingly are voting with their wallets, their attention, importantly, more important than the wallets at this point. They're voting with their attention now and with intention, right? And I think that it would behoove WWE to pay attention to shit like this because it could be very crucial to where they're going in terms of their social presence. I think that I honestly feel like X is a pit of snakes.
I
And
think they're too it's too it's too late. They're too deep in. Like,
Yeah.
you look at UFC over the weekend, it's like, one, people were like, "Oh, Triple H, of course he's with them, da, 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 da." I'm like,
He's
"Triple H is
always
doing."
there. He's always
Yeah,
in UFC.
but he's also has a job, right?
Yeah, like,
Like, where
I
he works with the head of
he was
UFC.
he was specifically next to his wife. That's why I said they have an aversion to showing a side. Even if we like, even if he did, the fact that he's not outwardly saying it, like, or doing the fucking dance like John Jones and shit like that, that
Yeah,
shows
yeah.
that they are aware of what that could do, and they're trying to, again, and I don't think it's gonna happen, right? Because they have the specter of Vince McMahon looming over them in their own community. The
Mhm.
UFC community is not, unfortunately, as welcoming and open and diverse as wrestling is, or in terms of their fan base. Um,
Right.
and I think that, again, people are voting with their time and their wallet. It would behoove WWE to tread lightly and also start looking in the blue sky, because AEW, for the first time, I can say, they taken over your trap. And I think this is a rare moment that they are doing this, or doing something like this.
Well,
Um,
good for them.
there's a listen. I said I'm going to say something nice about AEW today, and here we are.
That might be it, though. I don't know.
um, AEW. Speaking of them, they have a pay per view this weekend.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Full
Who would have
gear.
thunk?
Yes, there, and in light of there not being a whole lot of shit to talk about this week,
Oh, yeah, that's
uh,
right.
pardon us, Cyrus. Pardon us, Quan. We're going to walk through where AEW is right now,
Sure.
in the larger sense of this whole thing. There are 9.
Wow. Look at all these singles matches. They're using a lot of I feel like they're low key using a lot of restraint
Yes.
with all these singles matches, to be honest with you.
Exactly. Well, they got two black men, you know what I mean? They got two black men having a singles match. That is the what is it? The proof of diversity, if you will.
Ain't it? Ain't it? Multiple black people on the card in championship matches, man. Singles black man in match on pay-per-view.
We live in the dream.
The We living the dream, baby. Come on now.
Racism is over.
Hey man.
Okay, 8 matches. I'm sorry, not 9. Well, we got to count 9 because it's AJ and Big Justice and the Rizzler versus
I don't know who these fucking people are. So we can count it as hate. I honestly I don't I just hear them being referenced and I'm like, this
Hold
is
on, Meals.
it's just not for me.
You don't bring the boom?
I don't know what that means.
I can't believe that you're not bringing the boom. That's what you do. You are usually bringing the boom.
I'm I don't know what the boom means. I don't even want to sound old, but I also don't know what it means. And maybe it's I don't know what the boom is, bro.
Okay, well,
We live in a different climate now. I gotta know what the boom means
you
before I
gotta know
bring the boom.
the Costco guys, the chocolate chunk cookie. You know what I mean? You got to know all of that. You got to know Ash,
I'm not learning this lore for QT Marshall. I'm
Mama
good.
Justice. I
Are
didn't know
they
QT Marshall veneer game was so pronounced. I
Oh
really
man, I think he's the one who understands the biz more than anyone there.
presentation. Them bitches is white and big.
They racist too. No, they might not be.
They some big white teeth. And listen, CM Punk, call his guy. I think CM Punk popped back up with some nears. Is that why he's off? Is that why he's gone? It's because he's getting
Nah, he was at Complex Con.
no nears.
No nears, no. He was in a suit though. I was like, come on, bro. Out of all the events you go to, you try to John Cena it at fucking
You don't
Complex Con?
fucking know. CM Punk is
He
raring.
wore a suit and sneakers. That's what he wore.
No way. Hold on. Let me Google this. CM
Yes, bro.
Punk complex.
He wore a full suit and sneakers. He came out very very briefly. I didn't see much with him at Complex Con,
Oh
but he was
wait,
definitely
he did Cheap Heat at Complex Con and talked about AEW. Oh, did you see this quote?
I saw the quote, yes. I saw the quote of like he felt like he wasted matches. That which is hilarious.
No,
Um
yo, all it take is a bag, and that nigga would do an about face. Because I swear, if WWE doing wrong, he'll turn around and go to AEW and be like, "Yeah, I feel like I wasted." Actually, no,
I feel like
I don't know if he'd
that
say that.
Hell in a Cell took years off my life and they didn't even pay me. You know what I'm saying? Type of
Yeah.
bullshit.
Oh, he said
Um,
aside from the whole tricep injury and surgery, we really turned chicken shit into chicken salad with that one in terms of his WWE run so far. He said almost a little bit of a gift. I think people forget that I was hurt because I was such a focal point, just doing what we do, entertaining people. I don't want to grade myself. I leave that to the fans and my peers and people I work for. They can go ahead and grade it. I've had the time of my life though, coming back. Hey, I mean, I can't deny that. But he says he feels like he wasted some matches on some people for sure. That is what it is. Who do you think he's talking about there?
fucking
Well, Hobbs.
Will Hobbs. I don't know why that was the first person that came to mind for me as well. Um, you might have wasted a match on maybe nah. Wardlow wasn't a bad match. It served its purpose. Moxley definitely.
Oh yeah,
It,
yeah.
I felt like he was trying to teach Moxley how to swim, and Moxley just like I swim my own fucking way.
Okay.
Moxley's so weird.
Moxley's a hoe. We gonna talk about.
Can we talk? Yeah, let's when we get to them, we'll talk about how just incredibly weird. Like
Um,
every time I hear him talk, like in real life, I also have the Stone Cold Steve Austin Broken Skull podcast face where I'm just like, what is this nigga talking about? But go off.
okay. Oops, my bad. Hold on. Let's see. CM Punk. Oh yeah, he is wearing sneakers. What? Oh, he shaved. Okay, so he's coming back clean cut baby face.
Yeah, he was there. B Montez was there. Liv was there. Rey Mysterio was there. I get Rey Mysterio there, but Dom definitely should have been there. That's kind
Speaking
of
of that,
nasty.
before we get to AEW Full Gear, I'm sorry,
Sure,
we're like we're calling it in the ring tonight.
of
Uh,
course. New Mike.
WWE Into It Dome, January, Netflix, big moment there. When you say?
I would say this this is like the WrestleMania of Raws.
Yeah.
This is so this was actually on my like brief little list of things to actually talk about. I wanted to talk about it. Maybe we can talk. I don't know. Maybe we talk about it after Full Gear. Can we table it?
Yeah, let's table it. All right, let's
All
go
right,
to
cool.
Full Gear, taking place in the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. Huge step down from the Forum.
Jersey, baby.
Jersey.
Armand country.
So listen, every single match on this card is like with the exception of like one is like filled with just bullshit. I think the TV, just of what I've seen, has been absolutely atrocious leading up to this pay-per-view. But like that's how it always is. And people are always, after this will probably be the best pay-per-view of all time, and then the TV will happen, right? Um
Absolutely.
MJF versus Roderick Strong. The storyline for this has been so convoluted. MJF has not been on TV for a month and a half at
Yeah.
this. He's been shown in clearly taped vignettes, looking at a screen, laughing for about 3 weeks now. And the whole storyline was that Roderick Strong and Adam Cole had to win 3 matches, and then whoever won the 3 matches would get MJF at Full Gear. But Adam Cole lost to Takeshita last week, which he should have lost, but it shouldn't have been tied to this, right? Like it was a big win for Takeshita that was like completely overshadowed by the fact that there was a huge gimmick that was
Yeah,
involved.
yeah, yeah.
Like the win didn't even seem like it would mattered much because it was just like, oh, he didn't even really want you anyway. Which leads us to MJF versus Roger Strong, which is a match that like could happen on Collision next week, and no one would bat an eye. But it's on the pay per view.
It should happen on Collision. I think they need to just I don't know, fortify that show a little bit more. I have no thoughts about this match because I because I don't care about either one of these people
Yeah,
currently.
yeah.
I just haven't been watching. I haven't been tapped into AEW that often because it proves when I do to kind of be a giant waste of time. But this feud to me exemplifies the waste of time between like one guy who doesn't show up on shows and the other guy who isn't really featured on the main show anyway. Um, Having a match just for the fuck of it. So and
Just
there's
for
a couple of
fun.
these matches, yeah, just there's a couple of these matches that just People would tell me, "Oh, the big thing was like the November Rain music video," and it was like they'll tell you AEW doesn't have storytelling. I'm like, nigga, it's a music video.
Yeah.
What?
Like,
All
who
right,
gives a
whatever.
shit about a music video? Like, is that really what we're doing? Like, that's your copium right here? Like, is that? But MJF Roderick Strong, I'm sure MJF wins. We're gonna get Adam Cole and MJF at what's the last pay per view they have for the year? World's End.
Oh, World's End, yeah,
Yeah, it'll probably happen there. At
or
the scene of
Wrestle
the crime.
Dynasty or whatever the fuck. They have a pay per view at the end of the year, but then they also have that Japan pay per view, which
Too
is like
many
a
pay
week
per
later.
views. Too many pay per views for such a thin amount of storylines. But
Yeah, this is true.
then you have Jay White versus Hangman Adam Page. Just this is a mid card feud for a guy that they had so much, but two guys they had so much potential in, and where they are now compared to where
It's
they
a
were.
rematch. It was a rematch from the last pay per view too.
Yeah, which is something they rarely do, right? Like they
Yeah,
rarely do shit like this month to month. So that just shows
uh,
you,
I'll give them that for that. They rarely, again, do this month to month. It was like, okay, we're gonna have a feud that's gonna span multiple pay per views.
I'm sure. I don't really give a shit who wins this. Private Party and
Don't care.
yeah, they won these titles, and it's like they gave y'all this moment, and it's like they're wrestling the kings of the Black Throne and the Acclaimed and the Outrunners already. So they've already been slotted as guys that are not as important as the guys who had it before them.
Of course.
Yeah, unless someone wants to argue with me that the fucking the Acclaimed are like top tier right now.
No, none of these teams have been. I mean, they've all these teams had to qualify to be able to get into this match. None of these teams are necessarily. I'm sure this will be fun for the fans who are fans of this thing because there's a lot of reputable talent in here. Um, However, yeah, I'm not moved. But
Yeah.
hey, what
Um.
else is new?
Then you have. I want to know your thoughts on Mercedes Monet versus Chris Statlander.
I had a random thought over the weekend,
Oh
and I
boy.
shared this with the Discord already. I was like, why is Mercedes Monet still undefeated? Uh, What are people failing to overcome with her being defeated? And also, how is the company benefiting from her being undefeated? I truly, truly think if she was a smart person, like even Punk for a while wasn't undefeated. Like
Mhm.
Punk lost at some point because he knew ultimately it'd be better in the long run for his opponents. He's gotten beaten by Ricky Stark, he's gotten beaten by MJF, he's gotten beaten by a lot of people, especially in AEW. But he knew it would be beneficial for the talent. Chris Statlander needs a win. She is on the brink of irrelevancy, unfortunately. The
Mhm.
brink. She's got like one eye. It's like the eyelid is just over the water type of vibe. She's like something more. She could be dunked down into irrelevancy. This feud has not done her any favors just based on how they've treated Camille in this feud, how they've kind of turned Chris Statlander randomly. How Mercedes Monet doesn't really seem to be giving much more than that she can give, more than outfits, hair, and
I got a question.
interview clips.
I got a question.
Sure, talk about it.
Is Mercedes doing anything beneficial for the women on this show other than like I guess the argument's been we've been featured on more things, but like have the women on this show actually been looked at with the reverence of the women on the other shows on WWE?
I mean, when you compare them to WWE, it's really unfair because
Yeah.
it's hell no. Um, and I think my thing is they wanna I'm assuming they want to from everything that I've heard, what they're assuming is they wanna build to something, which is eventually Mercedes versus Tony, is what I'm
Yeah.
assuming that they're building towards in that giant Australia pay-per-view that people aren't
But
buying tickets
that's
for.
that's gonna be her one loss in the next 3, 4 months. That's crazy.
But yeah, but I'm just like, Tony doesn't need it.
Yeah.
Chris needs it.
Yeah.
Chris won last month in a street fight, and and suddenly her life got twisted, turned upside down, like she a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, bro. Like she needs it. The rest of the division needs it. This is the most stagnant this division has kind of been. And they have 2 championships. Like, and it's the most stagnant it's ever been. People aren't being featured. Their top woman star, Britt Baker, is just she's I'm going to maybe have to name the most overrated award after her this year because she
Ooh,
looks like she might win it again.
yeah. She, like,
I don't
honestly
know if it's regression
no, it's
or
not a
just
regression. It's not a regression. It's that, like, the thing with Brit is that she was the only for a while, right? So
Mhm.
when the competition is so, like, leveled, all it takes is, like, one single like, I don't even think Mercedes has been amazing, but just her matches are just one notch above, it makes Brit look like she's a fraud. Like,
Yeah.
Toni Storm, like, makes her look like a fraud every single time. You know
She's just kind of slow now. Um, she doesn't seem to have any I mean, I can't say I've watched a ton of Britt Baker matches, but everything that I've watched over literally the past 18 months has not been good. And that's
Yeah.
kinda nuts. Like, if she got signed to WWE, she would have to do what Jay did, which is we're ta you got 4 months in the PC, 4 months with Natalia,
Yeah.
and then we'll debut
Tag
you.
team, and then the tag team.
And then in a tag team, you
But,
and Becky, or
Ly
you and
you and Lyra, nigga, you better get with you better get with Lyra, nigga. No, it's the truth. It really is the truth, and I don't know, how to get that back, but, like, I honestly think that she's done all that there is to do, and I think a lot of people in this company have, and we'll get to that as we continue on here, but, like, a lot of people are running into the wall of facing the same people, and they need a change of scenery, but they've signed these crazy long deals, and
wait a damn minute. Give me a second. Hold on. Ricochet isn't on this pay-per-view? I'm looking at this card, I'm like, "All right, I was looking forward to a match,
Ah, man.
but the match ain't here. Wait a minute, there must be a mistake.
Ah, man.
It's gotta no, it's gotta be a mistake. Surely it'll be confirmed tonight, right?"
Ah, man. You know what's gonna be, what you're gonna hear when you ask that?
What? Alright, alright.
You're
This
gonna
is some
you're gonna hear that.
bullshit.
I have never leaned further back in my chair for this, but you know what, Meals?
What's up?
When are you just gonna admit that a couple months ago, I was right?
Um, I don't know. I'll have to see. Let's see if it gets confirmed tonight.
Alright, fine, fine.
If it's not on the pay-per-view by next week, by the time we gotta recap the show, I'll definitely have a lot of questions.
And you'll be
This
able to
can't be this can't be the we're saving it for TV thing because
Meals. You will have to say, "Justin, you were right. This was probably a bad idea for him."
I'll say it if he's not on this pay-per-view.
Like you said, he's barely he alright, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything. Next
Yeah,
match,
don't say anything.
Swerve Strickland versus Bobby Lashley. Swerve did go to Twitter earlier. Who's not going to Blue Sky? That nigga. He loves all them right wing niggas. Swerve Strickland, he posted on Twitter that he has like a separated shoulder. Um,
Why
Probably
would he tweet that?
doing all them dumbass moves with Leo Rush last week, probably. Um, Listen, this like Lashley and his crew are the hottest thing on this show, like bar none. They are the hottest thing on AEW right now. Everyone loves
Mhm.
Bobby. He is walking into this not as a heel. Let's just be clear. He's like Swerve is.
He's got his Breakfast Club interview pinned at the top of his Twitter. What a lame. Look, mom, I'm on Breakfast Club.
Look, mom, I'm
Um,
black.
oh my
What the
god.
fuck? He's a hoe. Listen,
He
he's
shouldn't be
walking
on
in.
this pay-per-view if he got a separated shoulder.
Well, this is probably gonna be a squash, right?
Okay, that's true.
I can only see this happening as a squash.
Okay, alright.
Like squat, like you got to get Lashley. The thing about the Lashley, if it is a squash, he's not going for the title anytime soon. So it's like he's just gonna be squashing niggas like he was doing during the pandemic.
If he can't wrestle on weekly television if he squashes Swerve Strickland, because then I'm assuming he's supposed to be squashing everybody else too.
Well, listen, I'm
I'm
hitting the
just gonna
top.
assume.
I'm hitting the, I'm hitting the Tyler on the Nardwuar. Nigga, no.
Listen, I don't know, Kano Classic coming up. I don't think he'll be in it again because being in the Kano Classic kind of
Gotta
low key
lose.
means you have to lose.
Yeah, you gotta lose. This nigga's not losing for a while. For a while. He's not losing for quite some time. So I got Lashley
Um,
winning this. Swerve taking 2 L's in a month is ill conceived, but I'm pretty sure that he's writing this, so he thinks it's cool. So there you go.
yep.
Um, Jack Perry versus Daniel Garcia. And you want to talk about somebody who uh re-signed and just looks like a complete goober upon re-signing.
Well, this is supposed to be his like moment.
Woohoo! The TNT title.
This is supposed to be his moment. This is this big mid card moment right here.
TNT
So
title.
God bless.
Boy, he got beat by MJF, disappeared off TV, came back a month later, got slotted into this weird takeover storyline where he gets his ass whipped every week. And his consolation prize for re-signing is to get the TNT title from Jack Perry, who is not over at all. So
I don't even know who else would be like who would be his challenger after that. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe probably Kyle Fletcher. Some weird shit. I don't know. Yeah, he's a dumbass, but it is what it is.
speaking of Kyle Felcher, him and Will Ospreay having their singles match. I don't know if you saw that promo they did last week.
I did not.
That was one of the worst promos I've ever seen in my life.
I was Will in it.
Yes,
Okay, that
he
kind of
talks
checks.
about not being able to feel his fingers and his hand, and talks about it them living together, like a bunch of history that like no one really cares about because it wasn't presented on TV. Like they were just talking about a bunch of stuff that people had never seen them do on TV. I've never heard anyone say he was a new Will Ospreay. I've never seen any of the type of shit he was talking about storyline wise. It just was an ill-fated, ill-conceived program, and I'm wondering.
Where do you think these promos come from? Like these style of promos where you have to talk about your hardships and all these other things that have.
Because people in AEW they tend to think that hardships, because a lot of these people are people who like feel as though they were looked over by WWE or done wrong, right? They were looked
Yeah, yeah.
over, they weren't being paid. So the currency for getting over there is how much did you struggle? How much did you give to us, to the people? When in actuality, you don't have to do that. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
not at all.
you could get over without that type of aggrandizing of yourself. Like you're not that special or important. You are a wrestler. You do things so people can cheer, but we don't want you to go out there and kill yourself to do
Yeah.
these things. So like for them to think that it's a badge of honor that he took the Tiger Driver and he can potentially not walk anymore. That is a reality that is too grim to even think about. Like I don't even know why that came up during the promo. It was weird.
I don't know, man. Like I feel like Will Osprey, he's got great like gumption or something, but I do think he needs direction, which
He
is more
needs
important.
he needs to stand up for himself, Mills, because whatever he's doing right now,
I think he is standing for himself. That's the worst part. You
he's
remember the tweet
gone.
where it says someone tweeted something like, "That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard," and I've heard Will Osprey or some shit like that. Like someone
Yeah,
tweeted that.
yeah.
Like I think he does put himself in these situations, but I think he can use bet. I think what the company needs for him, what the company would benefit for us, or what he would benefit from the company is better judgment, just in general, from the
Someone needs
people
someone needs to tell him
involved
no.
making decisions.
Yeah, you tell him no. You need to be in the top programs right now.
Yeah,
It is
like
so weird that he seemingly does. He was so pro AEW during the MJF feud, right? That he now does not give a shit what's going on with the main top storyline of the show. Like he was so integrated into that, and now he just doesn't give a shit because it's in a whole other universe, seemingly.
yeah,
I looked at him as being a business turnaround or someone who could turn around their business in the same way that Cody and Roman turned around business for WWE. And in that time, since he's come to AEW, it's shown flashes of that, and they immediately ripped that away. And I don't know what the story is here. I still say the biggest whiff they did was to um focus so much on Bryan Danielson's old ass fucking retiring and not Will Ospreay essentially replacing him at the top. Because now when Daniel leaves Mills, who do they replace him with? The guy we're gonna talk about in the main event, Orange Cassidy. Like what? Who made this decision?
To me, it's just like I th- he spent half the pay-per-views this year like putting over his friends or people that he's like close to. And the most dangerous thing is I think he's gonna do it here too. That's the worst part.
Yeah, I think he's gonna lose.
He shouldn't. And if he doesn't, great. But if he does, it's like, all right, what are we doing here? Like, what's the results that we're coming out of this from? What are the overall kind of like, what are we getting from this? What is this signing really for? You know? Um, it just is what it is. Let's talk about the main event and this bullshit ass storyline. This bullshit complicated, holy, uh, when I say holy, I mean a lot of holes in it. Um, Storyline between the Death Runners and the rest of AEW. This edgelord bullshit.
Orange Cassidy is in your Daniel Bryan role against John Moxley in your, I guess, NWO Hollywood role. Um, this storyline has not been good. I don't think people really react to it the way that they want them to, and yet they still keep going. And yet they continue to do this storyline that is getting absolutely no traction, losing ratings week by week. And your top guy here is John Moxley. So like he is really the one to blame here. Is like it's just not working with him at the top at all.
I I'm still not clear what they're really trying to do.
Well, remember they said it would all make sense after Brian lost, and then Brian lost, and then like nothing made any more sense. Like he's still talking in like circles, and I
Yeah,
don't understand what's going on.
like he's supposed to restructure AEW in a better image, but I don't see the restructuring going on. I just see him beating niggas up every week. Like, I don't know if that's leading to any long-term like, it would be great if, like, someone else turned, right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe someone else saw the light or someone else or maybe there's, like, now infighting between AEW because their people wanna handle like, just something where this is having an actual change on AEW, like, showing actual change.
Mhm.
I don't know what this is I'm so confused, and I think people like it because it's something that's happening, um, which is something that very rarely happens in AEW. Uh, but I think what's actually happening is nothing.
No, nothing is happening in AEW. Like nothing is happening. He took over the Superstation a week ago. Did you see that? And it just ended up being a regular John Moxley program.
Yeah. I was like, "What is going on here?"
It is absolutely insane how they are actively trying to push away casual fans, and doing this main event is just more proof of what they're doing wrong here. Like none of their stars are at the top here. You can't have Adam Cole go against this guy. Like you can't do anything cool with any of these people right now. Like
And don't get me wrong, I think Orange Cassidy's probably the best one of the best workers in the company. Like, overall workers. But
yuck.
this isn't the best place for him right now. This isn't what this whatever he just did needs. And the company is going to continue to suffer because this is not a enticing story. This is not a great story. The story isn't building to anything. It's clear there's no long-term vision to it other than probably someone is going to beat Moxley. Um, but there's no like grand specter that the Death Runner is actually having on AEW.
The
Because
only
really,
the only person that will beat Moxley is Kenny Omega. Let's just be completely fucking real. That is the only person who I think will win, who will beat him.
you don't think fucking no, I don't
Who?
know.
Yeah, who?
I don't know. I
Who?
don't know, nigga. I don't know.
They're just rerunning the same storyline, but Mox is a bad guy this time. That's literally all it is. Same storyline. Mox is a bad guy. The end.
I feel like if we explain this, I feel like, for instance, if Punk is still in the company and this idea is pitched to Punk, I feel like Punk is also like, "What is the point of this again?"
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Like, the there's supposed to be someone's supposed to gain something from this. I don't know who the fuck is gaining from this. Not even me. Like, watching if they just wanted to have the match, they could have had the match, but I don't even think Orange Cassidy has been presented in a way for the last year. He hasn't been presented in a actual fashion that where he has mattered. He on the last Let me look at what the fuck he was doing on the last pay-per-view. What was he doing on the last pay-per-view, bro?
Mox? Mox?
No, Orange Cassidy. He
Oh,
was
nothing.
in an eight-man tag team match
Yeah. And all of a sudden he's the hero with the conglomeration who have seemingly broken up or just like they're just not
on
together.
the pre-show. Bruh. Yeah, the conglomeration seemingly what was he doing on All Out? Orange Cassidy was on I low-key wanna say the pre-show again. No, he was on the card, Fatal 4-Way for the Continental title. That damn Spectre of whatever the fuck that title is, on All Out. What was he doing on All In? Let me look, because 'cause I'm just like, How did we get here? And why is this?" He was in the Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, why would this lead to this? Why would AEW on the front line put one of their just least relevant guys in a main event slot?
We are seeing the WCW 2000ification of this place.
It just doesn't make sense. And
Yep.
I'm waiting for the documentary where it's like everyone was getting paid so much that it didn't even really matter. That's what the mole is doing for me right now. AEW mole is giving me that's like the talking heads of it all. I feel like
A
that's what he's doing
Listen,
right now.
AEW Mo need to watch his back. They're on to you, pal.
They're on to you. If you can
They
hear this,
they're on to you, pal. I know
they're absolutely on to you.
I don't know anyone who wants to lose their job faster than this guy, but they're on to you. The amount of like the thing with AEW Mole that's interesting to me is that he gets the broad strokes correct. Okay. And that's for anyone
Mhm.
that follows him or he let into he's a private account now, but um he gets the broad strokes of these stories right, but we're starting to see that he's getting a lot of the minute details wrong. And he chalks it up to which I believe because I think the same thing happens in WWE. Like a lot of things get changed last minute.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of these decisions that are being made seem a little haphazard at the time, which makes a lot of sense. But I think that a lot of the broad strokes that he's getting wrong, they're feeding it to him on purpose at this point, right? Like they absolutely know that someone is talking about this and doing this. So watch out for yourself because there's a lot of things that he did say would happen on this show for sure, but there's a huge thing that did not happen. And one of those things was I believe Adam Cole was supposed to be wrestling on the show, but it looks like they changed their mind on that.
Looking spooky.
Watch yourself, brother. I want to see you succeed, brother, but you gotta want to see yourself succeed first.
This is true. Speaking about it succeeding, let's run back to WWE on Netflix.
Yeah, before we get out of here.
uh this is well, with the new Travis Scott song as a theme song. I think now it's interesting. This was announced and now it's getting the full thing. How do you feel about it now, seeing Netflix Live truly trying to work over the weekend?
Here's one thing that people, I think, something I think is a little unfair. Okay,
Okay,
is
let's talk
that
about it. Because
is
I was a victim of said shit, and I just had to open up meth streams.
for
It's kind
sure.
of sad.
Here's one thing that I think is kind of patently unfair. None of these things go off without a hitch. Okay, like Netflix has been trying to do live content since the Love Is Blind reunion 2 years ago, right, or a year ago. They tried to
Yeah,
do it live. and it fucked up. Live programming has been something that has been a challenge for them. Admittedly, like they have been working on this for a long, long, long time, Meals, and I don't think they've gotten it perfect or quite perfect yet. But they're doing these things,
Beyonce in a month. They better figure that out.
but they do we do things in companies and brands that we call stress tests. And the
Mhm.
stress test last weekend was the Mike Tyson event, and ultimately they failed in some aspects, and I honestly think that they might have succeeded in other aspects as well. Like I think that they've done some good stuff in terms of presentation. It's unmatched. It
Yeah.
looks amazing. I think that in terms of everything else, however, they have a long way to go, and I think that the more they do this, as with anything, the better they will get. Peacock is still not perfect, admittedly, but during the Olympics, they did a really good job. I thought, like everything I watched on there, they did a great job in terms of casting things. This is their first foray. I don't want to judge them until I see, the full thing, but they do have some work to do for sure. I'm not absolving them of anything at this point.
It is very frustrating. Um, it was very frustrating last weekend sitting on that. But I hear you. I hear you 100%. Um, it's very, very tough to do this live sports thing if it's not necessarily the model that you're your base model
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
Um, and especially with millions and like this is one of the most viewed things over the weekend. Ruined the ratings for every goddamn show that was in its wake. Um, so I don't think that many people will be watching Raw on Netflix concurrently at the same time. Um,
But I think the metrics are just different, right? Like
right,
I
but
get people saying, "Oh, they're not gonna get 8 million, 15 million." Like, of course fucking not. They're not gonna get that. But I think if they get two
might get
million,
like three. Yeah, might get
yeah,
two or
2 to
three.
3, that's a win for Netflix. But there's also the aspect, Meals, of the VOD, of the rewatches and how much people are watching it as a show the day after. I think that
Right.
to me is more important because you can't easily, you can't easily see how many people are going to watch Raw on DVR. There might not be a lot of people that do that, but there's going to be somebody that just happens to open Netflix and say, "Oh shit, WWE's on here. Let's see what this is about now." And you'll pick up viewers from that.
I think it's a well. First of all, I think this is going to go amazing. I think the first night is going to be they're loading that shit up. Um, First night will be incredible. Uh, all the stars are going to be there. There's Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Bianca Belair have all been promoted for this show. They are not Raw talent, but they will be on the show. Um,
We'll be firmly in Royal Rumble season, so you can make an excuse for that however you
yeah,
want.
yeah. I mean, they've been people have been floating between both shows for the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks now. So it really is
And,
no
and, the,
different.
and the shows have been so much fun
Yeah,
since.
yeah. It's really no different than it would be before. But I also think, what do you feel like we're getting a big match for this show, or do you feel like we're just getting a big moment for this show?
Gotta be a match, right? Because if it's not, then like what's the point, right? Like it's got to be a big match. I think that um I would do a title match. I would have. I don't even know like who would be the champions then. Because
Roman versus Cody
would you do that again on Raw though? Like not on SmackDown?
on Netflix. USA would be tight. USA would be like, USA should be livid if that happens.
They'll live like that.
But they, yes, they'll live. It was like, nigga, we got you. The fuck,
That's
you
my
got
thought.
Roman and Cody.
Yeah, like you'll get them literally next week. Like you'll
Yeah, and
like
if anything, this Netflix show is promoting USA. So
yeah.
calm your tits and sit the fuck down.
Telling USA to calm their is crazy.
But I also think I don't know. To me, it involves Roman and Cody. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people were suspecting a couple months ago The Rock. The Rock is not clearly ready or seemingly willing to do anything in the ring and embarrass himself on the first night of Netflix.
He's not ready. I mean, if it's a promo, I could see it. He's TKO's big boss. I think he will be there.
I think
Stone
he'll be incorporated for sure.
Stone Cold got to be there. But whatever happens, again, I think the
I
one
don't
thing.
know how they're gonna. I don't know how they're gonna promote it though, because I'm assuming we'll know what match will be on Netflix within the next couple weeks
Right.
because they're taking, like, pretty much the last 2 weeks of the year off.
Yep. Yeah. And
So, to be in order to promote that, I'm assuming we'll know by, like, Saturday night's main event of what the match is gonna be on Netflix.
well, isn't there a Saturday night's main event in January as well?
There is.
Yeah, so they will that's that they got a busy fucking month. That's why they're getting all this time off because they're not even gonna see their families,
No, not
for
at
a
all.
month,
Netflix, Royal Rumble,
and then
Elimination
it's
Chamber. Elimination Chamber's not too far, but then the WrestleMania tour
the
before
2-week tour.
WrestleMania
Yeah, the 2-week tour in Europe, like, that's gonna be crazy. They're not seeing their
where
family
they're
for a
where
minute.
they're doing shows, like
Yeah,
legitimate so they gotta live there, bro. Like,
that's kinda lit, I'm not gonna lie, like, other than, like, the family aspect, which I know sucks, like and they're doing it during the school year too, so if you have kids, like, they can't come, but,
yeah.
like, it would be lit to, just be chilling in Germany, you feel me? Like, they like, that'd be kinda lit, like, kinda fun.
If I don't have to do shows every day, yeah, that's fucking lit.
Yeah, like, you know Grayson Waller about to be chilling. You better be like, "I ain't doing shit, nigga."
Jade probably bring her whole family. She don't give a damn. She's like, yo, my husband's coming. Fuck
Bro,
it.
the Gucci store gonna hate to see her coming, bruh, because she about to fucking run it up.
But she like it's about to be crazy, but I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to what comes from this Netflix WWE Raw situation. Um
Situation, bro.
and
It's a lituation.
it's a lituation,
Yeah.
but also um we should probably talk about the stuff that happened on the show this
Yes,
week,
we
which we'll
should.
do on which we'll do on Patreon.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the A Show this week. Kind of a long show, but we had a lot to talk about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this week. And we'll be back next week with our Survivor Series predictions. So that's going to be a big show. Because I feel as though what happens on this show will probably set in motion everything that's fucking gonna happen for the rest of the year and onward. So that should be fun. So thank you guys for listening. For Meals, I'm Justin, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.